Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Today's story shows you how great it is to have a pet and how sad it can be when a pet disappears. While Jenny and her friend Natalie search for clues about what happened to Butterscotch, Jenny learns some important lessons about forgiveness. Chapter 8. Found and Lost Again. "Where is Butterscotch?" Jenny shouted. "I don't know," Tevin said miserably. "She ran away. I only meant to keep her for a little while. I was going to give her back." Tevin's eyes weren't angry anymore. They were sad and frightened. "I'm sorry." Jenny heard her own voice but couldn't believe what she was saying. "I forgive you," she managed to get out before her lips clamped shut. The ride home was filled with silence broken only by Jenny's sobs. After they dropped Dee Dee off at her house, Mom laid a hand on Jenny's knee. "Honey," her mother said gently, "I really think you should prepare yourself to accept the fact that Butterscotch may never come home." Jenny gulped back a big sniffle. "I know, Mom, but I'm going to keep hoping." "I know it's a little soon, but would you like to think about getting a kitten?" Jenny shook her head fiercely. "No, I don't want another kitten. I want Butterscotch. No other cat could take her place." "I understand, honey. We'll keep praying that Butterscotch comes home." When they got home, Jenny sank down on the couch. Her mom sat next to her and stroked Jenny's hair just as she did whenever Jenny was sick. "I wish I was sick," Jenny thought. "I wish I was just sick and that I had just dreamed that Butterscotch was gone." "I don't understand," she said finally. "Why did Jesus let Butterscotch run away again after I apologized to Dee Dee like he wanted?" "Jenny, look at me," her mother said sternly. Jenny lifted her head and looked directly at her mother. "Is that what you think? That Jesus was waiting for you to apologize to Dee Dee before he sent Butterscotch back?" Jenny nodded her head slowly. "Sort of." "Honey, Jesus didn't expect you to apologize to Dee Dee because you had to, or so that he will do what you want him to. He wanted you to apologize to Dee Dee because you love him and want to make him happy. Do you understand?" "I think so," Jenny said, but understanding didn't take away her sadness. That night, with the lights out, she stared out her window until her eyelids refused to stay open any longer. In the shoebox that week, all the kids were so excited about Family Day that no one really noticed how sad Jenny was. She sat in the back of the room watching everyone and wishing she could get excited about Family Day, too. Mrs. Shue told them about the booth that the shoebox kids would be running. "It's the Go Fish booth," she said. She held up a broomstick with a string attached to it tied to a clothespin. "The children will take one of these fishing poles and let the line down on the other side of the counter like this. Maria, come help me catch this prize." Maria ducked down behind the table. When Mrs. Shue tossed her fishing line over the counter, Maria took out a small prize and attached it to the clothespin. Then she tugged on the line, and Mrs. Shue pulled it up. "See," Mrs. Shue said, holding up the prize. "Each child who plays will receive a prize like this one. It will cost 50 cents each time they go fish, and the money that we earn will go to help pay for our camping trip at the end of the summer. We'll all take turns hiding behind the counter to attach the prizes so that everyone will have time to visit the other displays." "What if we don't want to visit the other displays?" Jenny asked silently. "What if we don't want to come at all? Maybe I'll pretend I'm sick that day." "No, Dad promised to come to Family Day and I want to see him. I'm just going to have a little fun, even if I can't show Butterscotch in the pet show." The thought made her sad again. "Oh, Butterscotch, where are you?" She was still thinking the same thing when she went to sleep that night. "Jenny!" Jenny sat straight up. "What?" "Oh, it's you, Mom." It took a few seconds to remember where she was and why she was clutching Butterscotch's battered old stuffed mouse. All she could remember was that Butterscotch was gone. Again. Probably forever. "Honey, it's time to leave for Family Day," Mom said. "Natalie called and said she's ready to go." Jenny put Butterscotch's old mouse on her dresser. "Now I remember. I fell asleep thinking about Butterscotch." She sighed. "One thing is for sure, Butterscotch and I won't be entering the pet show today." Jenny tried to be happy as her friend got in the car. She didn't want to ruin Natalie's day, but it was awfully hard being happy when she was sad and mad inside. "Your father said he would be a little late," Jenny's mom told her as they pulled into the parking lot. "Why don't you take Natalie over to the shoebox display and show her the hawk feather and hummingbird nest you found?" Jenny led Natalie over to the shoebox display and showed Natalie the things she'd found a few weeks ago on a nature hike. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw that the pet show was about to start. "Do you want to watch?" Natalie asked. "No. Well, yes," Jenny admitted. Natalie took her by the arm and steered her over to a spot where they could see better. Dr. Givens, the veterinarian, was standing in the middle of a big circle of animals. He had on a long white lab coat and looked very important. Jenny looked at all the animals. Chris Vargas was trying to keep his hamster Herman in a shoebox until Dr. Givens could look at him. Willie and his dog Coco were practicing some tricks while they waited to be judged, but Jenny's eyes stopped at Sammy and his cat Whispers. She walked over closer and heard Whispers' quiet meow. He sounds just like Butterscotch. Jenny blinked quickly. I don't want to start crying right here. Whispers surely does look nice, don't you think? A voice at Jenny's elbow asked. Jenny swung around. Natalie was no longer beside her. Instead, she saw Dee Dee and Tevin smiling at her as they munched on corn dogs. Tevin watched the animals closely as if he was going to judge them. If it was up to me, Tevin said finally, I'd choose Whispers. Well, it isn't up to you, Jenny snapped. Besides, it shouldn't be too hard for Whispers to win anyway, now that Butterscotch is gone. Maybe that's what you wanted in the first place. I hope you're happy.
The story you have heard today is a chapter of The Shoebox Kids, Book 3, Jenny's Cat-Napped Cat, written by Celeste Perino Walker, edited and created by Jerry D. Thomas, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.